Fujifilm X-H2 is my favorite Fuji camera thus far, combining a massive 40.2 megapixels of resolution with a fast burst rate, deep buffers, and up to 8K 30 video recording. This is a high-end, jack-of-all-trades camera that makes a great argument for the APS-C approach. But is it the right camera for you? Find out after a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Phantom Wallet, the minimalist modern wallet that is now even better with the new Phantom X that is crafted from aluminum right here in Canada. It is 22% smaller and 35% lighter, while still making it easy to access your cards and money when you need them, thanks to their unique fanning mechanism. You could even customize your wallet due to its modular design, with accessories like a money clip, cash holder, ID display, and even Chipolo and AirTag tracking integration. Visit store.phantomwallet.com to check out their unique sizes, styles, and finishes that span from aluminum to wood to carbon fiber, and use code Dustin15 for 15% off when you're ready to check out. The X-H2 is a little bigger and heavier than most of Fuji's other X cameras, but it fits my hands better than any other Fuji body I've used. It weighs in at 660 grams, but delivers a robust magnesium alloy body with 79 weather sealing points, about 40% higher than the X-T5. The control scheme of the X-H2 is more contemporary than the retro vibe of the X-T series, but I found most of the controls easily accessible, and a large LCD screen on the top of the camera helps give feedback on changes. The X-H2 also employs a fully articulating LCD screen rather than a tilting one, which can be important if you want to front monitor the camera. While the X-H2 uses the same NP W235 battery as the X-T5, the battery rating is very slightly lower at up to 680 frames. Unlike the X-T5, however, there is an optional battery grip available for the X-H2. There is a higher resolution 5.76 million dot electronic viewfinder that works well for tracking all kinds of action. Touch control on the LCD is still fairly limited. You can't navigate the main menu by touch, for example. What we do have is better connectivity, including a full-size HDMI port and a headphone monitoring jack. The X-H2 also has a CF Express Type B card slot alongside a UHS 2-rated SD slot, which unlocks deeper buffers along with higher resolution video options. The in-body image stabilization, or IBIS, is improved to a rated 7 stops, allowing for stable video capture and the ability to get stabilized images at lower shutter speeds. The mechanical shutter mechanism is rated up to 500,000 shots, and while it is limited to the typical 1/8,000th of a second shutter speed, the electronic shutter unlocks speeds of up to 1/180,000th of a second. You can also achieve up to 15 frames per second using the mechanical shutter, and up to 20 frames per second with the electronic shutter, though with a small crop. One huge improvement over the X-T5 is to the buffer depth. Rather than being limited to as little as 23 RAW files, you have over 400 uncompressed RAW files available and as many as 1,000 plus uncompressed RAWs or JPEGs. I was able to shoot long bursts of birds in flight or basketball action without any hint of buffer limits. The only negative I saw for shooting sports was some rolling shutter distortion on basketballs or even heads when quickly panning in electronic shutter mode. Use the mechanical shutter to eliminate this problem. I had very good autofocus results in general, whether tracking action, taking photos of pets, or taking people pictures in various settings. Fuji's tracking has improved with AI deep machine learning that allows the camera to identify more subjects and effectively track them. One of the headline upgrades is the new 40.2 megapixel X-Trans sensor, which offers the highest resolution level I've seen in an APS-C sensor. I can significantly crop landscapes, portraits, or even macro images and still have as much resolution as Fuji's 26 megapixel sensor. Fuji has managed to achieve this with minimal additional noise penalties, and the lossless compressed RAW file option keeps file size to roughly 40 megabytes each. I was impressed by the detail available on this new sensor, along with a very solid ISO and dynamic range performance. The base ISO is now 125 rather than 160, and that increased sensitivity pays dividends. Images up to ISO 3200 are perfectly usable, and in many situations, images at ISO 6400 and even 12800 will also be usable. This shot at ISO 12800 looks just fine, for example. I found that I was able to recover 4 stops of crushed shadows without issue, and even 5 was possible, though with a little bit of noise. I could recover 2 stops of highlights cleanly, though some hot spots emerged at 3 stops of recovery. If you want more dynamic range, consider using Fuji's DR200, which is available at ISO 250 and up, or DR400, available at ISO 500, which takes the shadow information from the current ISO setting, but samples the highlights from the base ISO, which is either 1 or 2 stops less. This allows you to get a perfectly clean 3-stop highlight recovery, with 4 stops possible as well. On the video front, we now have access to F-Log2 recording, which gives over 13 stops of dynamic range for editing. Fuji's color science remains excellent, and there are a total of 19 different film simulations available in camera, along with the ability to tweak each one in camera to deliver your perfect JPEG or HEIF image. Raw images can, of course, be tweaked to taste in post-processing. On the video front, we now have recording capabilities up to 8K at 30 frames per second or 4K at 60 frames per second. High-speed recording up to 240 frames per second at full HD is also available, and you can output ProRes or Blackmagic RAW over HDMI. I found video footage to be highly detailed and stable due to the excellent IBIS. I'm more upbeat about the Fuji platform than ever before due to cameras like this and them opening up to third-party development. And we have seen a flurry of new lenses from Tamron, Sigma, Samyang, and Viltrox, among others, in Fuji X-mount. This, along with new Mark II versions of some of their aging lenses, makes for a very intriguing APS-C space that is well worth your consideration. The Fujifilm X-H2 is my favorite Fuji camera to date for a lot of reasons and offers a solid value at $2,000 US. I'm Dustin Abbott, and if you want more information, stay tuned for my definitive video review, or you can read my detailed text review that is linked in the description below. There are also buying links there and a link to my image gallery. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and let the light in.